Hello, and welcome to this Buildings Quick Chat. I'm Janelle Penny, the editor-in-chief of Buildings, and today I'm talking with Angela Johnson Culver. She's the vice president of APS Solutioning at ABM Industries for Integrated Facility Services, tying together innovative and streamlined solutions for infrastructure. She's also a licensed professional industrial engineer and certified project manager with 20 plus years in industrial engineering and facilities engineering across multiple industries. Today, we're going to discuss integrated facility management systems with the aid of ABM Performance Solutions and how they can address the issues facility owners face on a daily basis. Angela, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Janelle. I'm happy to be here.
So, to start, what would you say are the biggest challenges that facility owners face in large-scale operations?
Oh boy, there's so many things that they face. And when we think about it holistically and not individually as industries, here at ABM, we do services for education and healthcare and manufacturing distribution, commercial properties, all sorts of things. But when you look at clients who have multiple sites across multiple regions and multiple states, the biggest problem that they have is standardization. Not being able to understand or see the details of their spend for their facility operations and being able to streamline those operations in a manner that helps save them cost, time, and labor. So really the biggest thing that customers face is transparency in their facilities.
How can facility owners utilize things like technology, automation, or data analytics to really streamline workflows and reduce costs?
So when you talk about technology, it does come with an investment. So while the idea is to reduce costs, we have to spend the money in order to get there. So when we talk about technology and what it can do for our industries, a lot of times seeing that price tag at the beginning scares off a lot of clients because they don't want to invest in those types of things because it's a big margin and there's lots of money that's associated with it. But when we're thinking about how technology can help sustain the useful life of our facilities, we have to go to that technology and use it. So for example, sensor technology has been around for a while. Internet of Things has been around for a while. We talk about building automation systems and building management systems, CMMS, IWMS, and just any types of different BIM systems. All of those things help us to be able to make smarter decisions for our buildings. So as we look at technology, I wouldn't say just go and get everything off of the shelf and buy it. I would definitely say there's a need to evaluate your facility and how it's used and the different MEP or mechanical electrical plumbing systems that are there on those sites, and then map it to the different technologies that are out there in the market. It takes a little bit of work, but it's worth it because once you begin that mapping process, you're able to understand your return on investment and be able to make smarter choices in which types of technology you want to use. So we have technology around sensors where you can go into a space, everybody's seen this, you go into the bathroom, no one's in there, you walk out, the lights go off. Same for offices and conference rooms. You can have sensor technology on your electrical systems, your mechanical systems for your pumps, just to help measure the amount of energy that's being used in those systems into those buildings. You can have sensors on your water lines to really understand where water is going, how it's being used, and those sorts of things. So there's a lot of technology out there. We just have to be smart on what we're using. And that mapping process, I can't iterate that enough. It will take a lot of time, but in the end, it's worth it because you have to have that investment in order to see that return on investment, in order to be able to drive down your costs utilizing technology.
Well, let's talk action steps. What are some practical strategies that facility owners can implement so they can realize workforce optimization amid these labor shortages and budget constraints that they're seeing?
Absolutely. There is a huge need for talent in our industry. And honestly, I don't think facility management industry is the only one who's suffering for being able to find talent. So individually, when we look at the types of people that we need to support our task, our jobs, our buildings, sometimes we have to be a bit creative. And so, if we're looking at homegrown initiatives, then look within our organizations, find people who have the skills and train them, cross-train your teams so that they are able to do more and have more knowledge. When we're looking at the capacity of where we find people, how we find them, we may have to, shuttle people in from a different county, offer a shuttle service specifically to our facility. When we're looking at how we pull in people, sometimes the best facility manager or the best people who are in our industry have never even heard about our industry. And so we have an opportunity to pull those people who have the interpersonal skills and the motivation and build them up and train them through apprenticeships or some other on-the-job type of training so that they're able to work in a facility and support our functionalities. So as a whole, when clients are looking at their current labor teams and how they're going to look in the future, there comes a point where you have to build in a succession plan. When you're looking at your facility people and your team, look at who's on the way to retirement, who can you elevate, who can you transfer to a different site to, harness some of their best skills that they have. So there has to be some additional work where we look at those team members and build those succession plans. And then once you understand who everybody is, what their desires for their career are, then you'll be able to pull different resources from other locations. So if you need to hire out of a different industry and train those people up, you can do that. If you need to cross-train people, you are understanding who you need to cross-train. If you have people who have a desire to be at a management level, you have an action plan to help get them there to support their career goals. Because at the end of the day, if we don't understand our employees and what their career goals are, then we will have a hard time keeping them, because we can't just think that they have a job and they're happy. We have to understand what their future goals are and help them to elevate them in their goals so that they then in turn help the organization and enterprise.
How can sustainability efforts drive long-term savings and operational improvements?
Sure, that is a great question. When we think about sustainability, it is not anything new. We have grown up around sustainable practices in our own homes. The key is to take those practices in our own homes and elevate them into our enterprises and our buildings. And when I say it's not something new, think about when you were a child. If you kept the lights on, or you ran the water while you were doing something else, or you went into a room, didn't close the windows or didn't close the door, your parents are fussing at you. You got to save the electricity. You got to save our power. You're not paying the bills around here. I am. So those are the things that we inherently have within us as childs, and now as adults, when we're the ones paying the bill, I find myself doing the same thing with my own kids. So we have to make sure we kind of take some of those natural inclinations that have been inherent in the way that we've learned growing up and push those into our facilities. Now, yes, we're talking about people and how they use the buildings. We can put the sensors in, help save power, but what else are we doing? We have to look at our mechanical and electrical plumbing systems. How are we using water? How is electricity being used? There's been instances where we've been a part of construction projects and the construction project is over. It's done. And now the building is operational. No one has been checking the water and electricity bills. Now it's been a year and we still pay for that pole, that temporary pole for electricity that was put up. We're still paying for it. We may even be still paying for water. Being able to be at a point where you can dissect your utility bills is very important, because without that, you can end up in a situation where you've now spent, $250,000 on temporary electricity that you didn't even need, or water that you didn't even need because the construction project was over. If you're at a university and you have multiple residence halls, think about your shower heads, your sinks. What type of shower heads are you using? What is the GPM on that shower head or those sinks? Or your kitchens, if you have a lot of kitchens and you're at the dishwasher station, what is that nozzle head? What is the GPM on that? Those are small changes that may seem insignificant, but when you add them up, it saves gallons and tons of water. When you're looking at your condensate lines on your chiller plant or your cooling towers or anything of that nature, how can you redirect some of that condensate? We've heard of so many times about projects where people repurpose that condensate for other purposes. How can your organization and your site do those types of things? Sustainability is not going away anytime soon, because if we look at it in a holistic standpoint, if we monitor it, manage it, and maintain it, we can drive our costs down. And that's one of the biggest things. We don't want to pay for stuff that we aren't using. So how can we look at our organization, at our facilities, and then map it and use those tools to be able to drive sustainable practices, implement sustainable practices, and help our people support the sustainable practices of our organization?
What is ABM doing to support their clients and all these things that we've talked about today?
Oh, absolutely. So as you said at the beginning, I am at ABM. I'm specifically part of the ABM Performance Solutions team. When we look at the APS is what we call it, externally and internally, we are really focused on those integrated facility management clients. And so everything that we've talked about today, that program supports. It supports how do we effectively and efficiently put in the staffing to be able to support our customers and our clients. A lot of times when we're looking at supporting our customers and clients, they give us information and it's not enough information. We have to do a little bit more of our due diligence to go on site and understand the account, understand what the customer wants. And that's really what APS is about: understanding our clients, being a true partner to our clients, finding out what's important to them. Because then once we understand those three things, we're able to come in with a solution that supports the self-performance model by ABM employees that helps to drive down costs. And we're also helped to find more efficient processes that we're able to implement and support their initiatives while they can focus on their core business. And really, the most important thing is we are not trying to fit everybody into the same shoe. We are customizing our way of doing business to support our clients for every individual client. So if there's something that's important to them, like growth, we're able to support that. If technology is what's important to them, smart buildings, we're able to support them with that. When we look at where we're going as a society, is utilizing more sustainable practices. We're being able to innovate with technology like electricity, having microgrids in place to support some of our electrical systems. ABM Performance Solutions is there to support that. So when we look at our models and our clients, we are really in the business of understanding, partnering, and working with our clients to get them the best possible self-performance team to make their buildings last longer, are safer for their employees and their operations, and obviously to help them find the most efficient and effective way in processes and standardization to support their business.
Angela, thanks for joining me today and walking us through all the solutions out there. It's been great talking to you today.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Janelle. As you can see, I'm very excited about facility management. So anything else that you need, please feel free to reach out.
I'm Janelle Penny, Editor-in-Chief of Buildings, signing off. Thanks again to Angela Johnson Culver for providing insight on ABM Performance Solutions. Thanks for listening.